Hi, I'm Catherine. Welcome to my channel Nuts About Names. In this video I'm going to talk about Duggar names. Megan, also known as Tulip by any name, has done this Duggar name game, and I think a few other people have done it as well, but I thought I would have a go. So the Duggar family live in Arkansas, and there are 19 kids in that family, and they have a show called 19 Kids and Counting. I do like them in general, and I think that they seem like nice people in general, but I disagree with a lot of their theology and the way that affects their beliefs and actions and how they treat some people, but I won't get into that. Let's talk about names. So I'll run through the names first and the origins and meanings, and then I'll rename them using a different letter. Then I'll also do a bonus round. So let's get started. First is Joshua, and his nickname is Josh. Josh is married to Anna and have 3 children, Mackynzie, Michael and Marcus. Joshua is Hebrew and it means Jehovah is salvation. Then there's Jana, she's a fraternal twin, and Jana is Hebrew and it means God is gracious. It's a feminine version of John. Then there's John David, he's Jana's twin brother, and he's usually called John. John is Hebrew and it means God is gracious. And David is also Hebrew and it means beloved. Then there's Jill. Her nickname is Jilly Muffin. I've heard Jim Bob say recently. Jill is married to Derek and she is currently pregnant. Jill is Latin and it means youthful, and it's a derivative of Juliana. Then there is Jessa, and sometimes they say Jessa Bella, and she is married to Ben Seawald. And Jessa is Hebrew and it means wealthy. Then there is Ginger with a J. It's English and it's a spice. It can also mean pep or liveliness, and I think this name really suits Ginger. Then there's Joseph, and his nickname is Joe. Joseph is Hebrew and it means Jehovah increases. Then there's Josiah, and his nickname is Sire, and Josiah is Hebrew and it means Jehovah helps. Then there's Joanna, and she's usually called Joy. Joy is Old French and Latin and it means joy. Anna is Hebrew and it means God has favoured me, or grace. Then there's Jedidiah, he's a fraternal twin. His nickname is Jed, and Jedidiah is Hebrew and it means beloved of the Lord. Then there is Jeremiah, and he's Jedidiah's twin brother. His nickname is Jer. Jeremiah is Hebrew and it means the Lord exalts. Then there is Jason. Jason is Greek and Hebrew and it means healer, or the Lord is salvation. And apparently Jason is a version of Joshua. Then there's James. James is Hebrew and it means supplanter, and it's a variant of Jacob. I like James. He seems like a bit of a free spirit. Then there's Justin. Justin is Latin and it means just, upright and righteous. And I like Justin as well. I think he seems really thoughtful. Then there's Jackson, who was almost named Judah. Jackson is Old English and it means son of Jack. Jack is a variant of John, which means God is gracious. Then there is Johanna. Johanna is Hebrew and it means God is gracious. It's a feminine version of John. Then there's Jennifer. Jennifer is Welsh and it means fair and smooth. And I think Jennifer's funny. She seems so serious all the time. And she said in an episode that I saw recently that she doesn't want to get married. Then there is Jordyn-Grace. She's usually called Jordan. She spells it Jordyn, so it's a variant of Jordan, like the Jordan River, which is Jordan. Jordan is Hebrew and it means flowing down. Grace is Latin and it's a virtue name, and it means favour or blessing. And then there's Josie. Josie is a diminutive of Josephine, which is a feminine version of Joseph, and it's Hebrew and it means Jehovah increases. So that means Joshua and Jason have names with the same meaning, and Jana, John, David, Jackson and Johanna have names with the same meaning, and Joseph and Josie have names with the same meaning. So I'll try to name them all in order without looking at anything. So let's see, I might close my eyes. Okay, so there's Josh, Jana, John, David, Jill, Jessa, Ginger, Joseph, Josiah, Joanna, Jedidiah, Jeremiah, Jason, James, Justin, Jackson, Johanna, Jennifer, Jordan and Josie. So my favourite names in age order: Jessa, Joseph, Josiah, James, Jackson, but I prefer Jack, and Jennifer, and some of those names I like because they're family names. So I'm going to rename them now. Megan chose the letter E, and I know that she loves E names. I've chosen the letter B, and I love a lot of B names I've discovered, but the names I've chosen aren't necessarily B names that I like, but they're names that I thought would suit each kid or person, and I'll do them in the same order. For Josh, I chose Bradley. It's because I thought that name suited, and Bradley is Old English and it means broad meadow. For Jana, I chose Briony because I thought that suited her, and Briony is Greek and it means climbing plant. For John, I chose Brian. Another name I thought of was Benjamin, but I think Brian suits him more, and it's a bit funny because there's Briony and Brian. But Jana and John are similar and they mean the same thing, so why not have Briony and Brian? Brian is Gaelic and it means noble. For Jill, I chose Brielle, and I had a hard time choosing that name, but I just couldn't get past the L sound, so I chose Brielle. And Brielle is Hebrew and it means heroine of God, and it's a diminutive of Gabrielle, which is feminine version of Gabriel. For Jessa, I chose Bella. All the Duggar girls are gorgeous, but I think that Jessa is just stunning, and Bella is Italian and it means beautiful, so I thought that really suited. For Ginger, I chose Bridget because I thought that name suited her, and Bridget is Gaelic and it means exalted one. For Joseph, I chose Barron, and I think it's because his middle name is Garrett, so I went with the R sound in Barron. Barron is Old German and Old English and it means young warrior. For Josiah, I chose Boaz because to me Josiah is just a very biblical name, and I thought Boaz suited. Boaz is also a very biblical name. Another name I thought of was Balthasar, which is actually one of my brave/guilty pleasure names, but I thought Boaz suited more. Boaz is Hebrew and it means swiftness or strength. For Joy, I chose Bridie because I thought that name suited her. Bridie is a diminutive of Bridget, so it's Gaelic and it means exalted one. For Jedidiah, I chose Bennett. I think it suits him, and Bennett is Latin and it means blessed. For Jeremiah, I chose Barrett because I think it suits him and it goes with Bennett, Bennett and Barrett, Jedidiah, Jeremiah, Bennett, Barrett. Barrett is Old German and it means bear strength. For Jason, I chose Brent because I thought that suited, again, and Brent is Old English and it means hill. For James, I chose Byron. Another name I thought of was Brighton because James, I think he was a little bit naughty when he was little, so I think with Brighton I thought of the character Brighton from The Nanny, who was a bit naughty. But I chose Byron because I think that suits him. Byron is Old English and it means at the barn. For Justin, I chose Boyd, and that was one of the first ones I thought of. I thought of the name Boyd and I thought of all the boys, and I just went, yeah, that name suits Justin, I thought. Boyd is Gaelic and it means blonde. For Jackson, I chose the name Billy because Jackson seems like a cheeky boy and Billy just seems like a cheeky boy name to me. Billy is a diminutive of William, which is Old German and it means strong and resolute protector. For Johanna, I chose Bessie because I think that name suits her. Bessie is a nickname for Elizabeth, which is Hebrew and it means pledged to God. For Jennifer, I chose the name Bethany, and as soon as I thought of the name Bethany, I just felt like that really suited her. Bethany is Hebrew and it means house of figs. For Jordan, I chose the name Bryce. My thinking with that was that Jordan is a unisex name and so is Bryce, and Jordan, the way she spells it, has a Y, and so does Bryce, so I thought that name suited. Bryce is Scottish and it means of Britain. For Josie, I chose the name Brooklyn, which is a bit of a cheat because that's actually her middle name. Brooklyn is a variant of Brook, which is Old English and it means small stream. Okay, so I'll try to name them all in order with the B names without looking at anything. I'll close my eyes. I'll see if I can do it like the J names. Okay. Bradley, Briony, Brian, Brielle, Bella, Bridget, Barron, Boaz, Bridie, Bennett, Barrett, Brent, Byron, Boyd, Billy, Bessie, Bethany, Bryce and Brooklyn. I had to think of each kid, each person, and think of their face and think of their name and then think of the name that I chose for them. So that was a little bit harder than the J names. So my favourites, I've got a soft spot for Billy and Bessie. I don't mind most of the names though, but I would actually consider using William or Elizabeth or Beatrice so I could get the nicknames Billy and Bessie because I think they're really cute. Now it's time for the bonus round. As I said earlier, Josh and Anna have 3 kids. They are Mackynzie, Michael and Marcus. Mackynzie is a variant of Mackenzie, which is Irish and it means fireborn. And Michael is Hebrew and it means who is like the Lord. And Marcus is Latin and it means dedicated to Mars. So I'm going to rename them using a different letter. Megan used the letter R and I've chosen the letter T. So for Mackynzie, I chose Tilda. And my thinking with that was that Mackynzie is a different sort of version of Mackenzie and Tilda is a different version of Matilda. I like it because you could still use the nickname Tilly, which I think suits the spunky little girl, and I just think Mackynzie seems like a spunky little girl. Tilda is Old German and it means mighty battle maiden, and I love that meaning. So for Michael, I chose Toby. Toby just seems like a cheeky little boy's name, and I think that Michael seems like a cheeky little boy. Toby is a diminutive of Tobias and it's Hebrew and it means God is good. And for Marcus, I chose the name Timothy because I just thought that it suited him. Another name I thought of was Titus because it seems like a Roman name and Marcus seems like a Roman name. But I think Timothy suits him a little bit more, I suppose. I don't really know his personality because he's still so little. But I just felt like Timothy suited him. Timothy is Greek and it means God's honour. So my favourite name from those names, Tilda, Toby and Timothy, is Tilda. I think they're all nice names, but I like Tilda. It's a nice name on its own as a variant of Matilda, and the nickname Tilly is really cute. And the meaning, mighty battle maiden, spunky, love it. So I hope you enjoyed that little Duggar name game. Comment below, tell me the names that you think suit or don't suit, either their J names or the B names that I chose, or for the grandkids, the M names or the T names that I chose, and have a go yourself renaming them with a different letter. And thanks for watching. See ya.